Hello everyone and welcome to my Festival of the Four Winds overview. So sorry this came out a little late, I was having some PC trouble, but since it came out late I'm able to let you know that the Festival of the Four Winds will be continuing until July 1st when Season 2 of Living World picks up, and that on June 3rd the World vs. World Spring Tournament vendors will be appearing at the Portal Keeps, as ArenaNet put it. So look forward to that pretty soon. So into the Festival of the Four Winds. I'll start with Lion's Arch. It's been modified. They're beginning to rebuild it. There are now like 3 sections with crafting tables and bank and trading post and all sorts of stuff. The portals are all back in there. It's still pretty destroyed looking, so it hasn't changed a huge amount. There's still huge chunks of Breachmaker all over the place. The place is still a wreck, but definitely starting to change. And in there, you can also find the start of the living story, kind of story part of the Festival of the Four Winds, where you can talk to Ellen Keel, and you'll see a conversation between her and some other people. And you'll be able to talk to the living story characters, and they'll tell you that basically the Bazaar of the Four Winds is back, and that the Queen's Pavilion is up and running again. So there's basically 2 events you can go to during the Festival of the Four Winds, and you can get prizes from each of them. A lot of the stuff that you might have missed during the first Living Story season. So from there you can take a boat to the Bazaar of the Four Winds, or you can head over to the Queen's Pavilion in Divinity's Reach. They've set up a balloon that will take you between the 2 events during the festival, so it makes travel pretty easy. The festival kind of has 2 currencies. There's tokens, which you can use to buy the prizes, a lot of them. The 2 big prizes take a favor of the festival, which you can get either from completing the meta or combining a favor of the bazaar and a favor of the pavilion, each of which drops from events from their respective their respective areas. So you need those for the 2 big ones, and then you can also use the favor of the festival for some of the skins that they offer. So over to the Bazaar of the Four Winds, there's a couple big events there. There's the Flying Dolyak race, where you turn into a mini Dolyak and use the aspects to race to the top of the Labyrinthine Cliffs. And it's kind of like a guild rush in that there are traps and stuff that you have to avoid along the way. But other than that, it's like using the Sanctum Sprint abilities to get there. It's not too hard, and the silver and gold medals are based on how many people on the map complete it. The second event is collecting the crystal essences that appear all over the map. They can be kind of hard to get to sometimes, but usually it's pretty easy to grab a couple of them and turn them in at the barkeeper, who will mix up some drinks with them, and you'll get tokens for both the Flying Dolyak race and this event, and those are the 2 events. There's also a bunch of crystals around you can find. There are achievements for those as well, so you can find 10 master crystals and then 40 of these smaller crystals, which are a little easier to get, but there's quite a few of them. So you gotta be on the lookout for those. They're pretty difficult to find, and I should be doing a video on those. So once you have all of those, then you're pretty much done with that, but it's kind of fun to go around and try and find all of those. A good strategy for the crystals is to hold down the control, and it will light up their names from quite a ways away, so that'll help you find them a lot easier. Fortunately, a lot of masters will offer ports to some of the harder crystals, so watch out for those, and you can get them a little easier that way. In addition to that, they have the Aspect Arena, where you use a single aspect. You get like 5 abilities for it, and you can choose your aspect each time you respawn, or you can go back to the spawn to change them. And basically, it's a capture the flag style game that you play with other people using the aspect abilities. You just grab a crystal and bring it back to your spawn to score. big points, or you can just kill the other players for, you know, smaller points. But you really need to capture the big crystals to win. And then also, Sanctum Sprint is available, so you can play that as often as you'd like here. And for both of those events, you also get tokens. So, you know, pretty much everything adds up to getting those rewards from the traders that offer them. In the Aspect Arena, there's achievements for winning 3 arena matches and for defeating 30 opponents in the Aspect Arena. The Sanctum Sprint you need to complete 10 times for its achievement. In addition to basically all the events you can do here, there are also items at some of the merchants that aren't really merchants on the way up the Sanctum, and if you interact with them, they'll spawn a veteran creature, and if there are 5 people around, they'll spawn a champion creature. So you can use those to, a lot of people do champion trains here, so you'll get at least 5 people and then run through all of the these items basically that spawn champion creatures, which can get you quite a bit of loot and experience. So those are nice to do in between maybe some of the bigger events you might be farming for tokens. And that pretty much covers the Bazaar of the Four Winds. So over at the Pavilion, there's some events there too. There's a boss blitz. So there's 6 bosses that spawn in. They're each have their own area around the map, and basically you contribute funds to Helitron, and he'll start it off. So once enough funds have been generated, the 6 bosses spawn, and the faster you complete it, the best rewards you get. So it's like gold for, you know, a certain number of minutes, and then you work on, you know, trying to get for silver, and then if that doesn't happen, then you just get bronze whenever you finally defeat the 6 bosses. It's easiest to take them all down at the same time, because every time you kill one of the bosses, they share one of their special abilities with the rest of the bosses. So the more you kill, the more the other bosses have to kill you with. There's also there's achievements for completing those a certain number of times, and there's also achievements for farming 50 of the enemies that are spawned in those bosses areas. There's one for each boss, because each enemy type that is associated with them. So the only really noteworthy one there is the centaurs, because you can only kill them after you've killed the boss. Otherwise they're invincible and just trample around the area. So that's the boss blitz. Also a good farm if you can get a map that goes for gold each time, since you get a lot of loot from that, and you get the tokens and, you know, all the stuff that goes with that. There are also achievements for completing both the events in the Bazaar and in the Pavilion a certain number of times. So you have to complete like 5 events for the Bazaar's Yak Race and Crystal Collection, and then there's one that's for completing the boss blitz 10 times. There are also achievements for beating each of the bosses in the boss blitz. So another thing that drops that from this event is a Queen's Gauntlet token ticket, which allows you to fight in the Queen's Gauntlet, which is back from the original Pavilion. There are a bunch of kind of boss-like characters, basically, that you fight one-on-one with a time limit, and they can be pretty difficult, but you know, if you work your way through, there's some neat rewards, and also you can get you get like 1 token every time you beat one, just for the chance of dropping I believe it's a favor of the Pavilion. So for some reason, in order to have a bag that they, you know, have a chance of dropping the favor in, they need to add 1 token. So you get 1 token every time you beat one, which isn't much, but it's there. There's a lot of achievements for that. All of the previous ones are back, and then there's some additional rewards for beating the last one. You get there's a mini you can get and a title, and they're both pretty prestigious, since the last boss, called Liadri, is quite difficult. and a lot of people have been trying quite a while at that. So that's pretty much the pavilion. There's only those two things there, and that about covers those events. So thanks for watching, and I hope you found it helpful.